Let's dive right into this explainer and unpack the hidden psychology behind a daily habit that honestly, a lot of people completely misunderstand. We've all seen it, right? We usually think about fashion as this way to express ourselves, stand out, or just fit in. But what if I told you one of the absolute best strategies for optimizing your brain actually involves just opting out of that whole system? Today, we're looking at the cognitive strategy of uniform dressing. Seriously, think about it for a second. Have you ever noticed some highly successful people, or maybe even just that super focused colleague you work with, wearing the exact same style of clothes every single day? We see them at the office, we see them leading massive tech companies, completely skipping the fashion trends. And it kind of begs the question, why? Why, with all the resources in the world, would someone willingly wear the exact same gray t-shirt or black turtleneck every single morning? That brings us to our first point, the personal uniform phenomenon. It's a hidden psychological strategy. You see, while most of us spend hours every week agonizing in the front of the mirror, trying to match colors and keep up with trends, these individuals seem totally unbothered by variety. They just wake up, put on the uniform, and go. Now, to the outside world, this looks boring, repetitive, or honestly like a total lack of style. But the inside view, that reveals a brilliant strategy. It's a highly intentional tool they use to protect their mind and preserve mental bandwidth for the things that actually matter to them. Which brings us to part two, protecting your cognitive energy, the brain's limited resource. To really grasp this, we have to recognize a fundamental limitation in how our brains are wired. Mental energy is a strictly limited resource. It is absolutely not an infinite well you can draw from all day without consequence. Think of it like a daily bandwidth, or a battery. And this finite resource is consumed by literally every single micro decision we make. From what to eat for breakfast, to wording a tricky email, to picking a route to work, every little choice takes a tiny bite out of your daily energy reserve. And that creates the cumulative weight of hundreds of small, unimportant choices. We've all stared into a packed closet and thought, I have absolutely nothing to wear. But here's the kicker. Every time you stand there debating what matches the weather, you are actively giving away a chunk of your daily energy before the real work of your day has even started. You're burning precious cognitive fuel on a relatively low-stakes problem. Which leads us straight to a concept called decision fatigue. The brain is constantly busy processing tasks, conversations, all the environmental noise. Throw hundreds of micro-decisions on top of that, and boom, you hit decision fatigue. This is a state where high-stakes problem-solving actually becomes so much harder, just because you are literally exhausted from making constant minor choices. So by entirely eliminating the outfit choice, these people dodge decision fatigue right out of the gate. They are intentionally keeping their tank full for the complex challenges later in the day. Let's transition over to point three, internal standards over validation. This is all about rejecting the pressure to perform. Adopting a personal uniform isn't just a cognitive hack, it's a major social statement. We live in a culture deeply obsessed with external validation. Platforms like Instagram are built entirely around getting social feedback, following trends, and curating this perfect visual identity for an audience. But these high achievers, they place far less value on external approval. They just aren't as affected by the pressure to perform for others. Instead, they are guided by internal standards. They prioritize comfort, they prioritize efficiency, and they value the actual experience of doing their work way more than other people's reactions to how they look. Next up is section 4, predictability as psychological safety, creating a stable baseline. Beyond just saving energy and ignoring that social pressure, a personal uniform actually serves a deep emotional function for the brain. Let's face it, our world is incredibly chaotic and uncertain. Every single day brings unexpected challenges, stressful news, unpredictable interactions. But the human brain, it naturally craves what is familiar. Predictability creates a really powerful sense of security. So in a world full of noise, making this single, predictable choice every morning gives them a completely stable baseline for the day. It cuts down unwanted emotional stimulation and lets them step out the door feeling totally grounded and in control. Now for section 5, the metacognition advantage, studying your own thinking. This is a hallmark trait of fast learners and high achievers. They continuously monitor their own minds. They don't just go through the motions. They pay super close attention to how their brain operates in different situations. That practice is called metacognition. It's the active practice of studying your own thinking processes. People who do this notice exactly what helps them focus and, just as importantly, what causes them to get distracted. By adopting a uniform, they're intentionally turning down the visual noise. They're actively using metacognition to laser focus their attention right where they want it, which psychology definitively shows improves overall performance.
Finally, we arrive at Section 6, choosing peace over expectations, the ultimate self-awareness.
Pulling this all together, wearing the same thing absolutely isn't about being stuck in a rut. It's a multi-layered tool. It protects that limited cognitive energy. It skillfully avoids the trap of decision fatigue. It boldly prioritizes internal standards over external validation. It creates much-needed psychological safety, and it leverages metacognition to keep the brain locked in. Ultimately, it's about reaching a level of self-awareness where your own mental peace is prioritized over the social expectations of everyone around you. It really represents this quiet, profound shift in how the mind sees the world. It is a highly conscious choice to intentionally spend less time on the surface of life. The changing trends, the outward appearances, the exhausting micro-decisions. They let all that go so they can take that saved energy and pour it directly into the work, the people, and the projects that truly fulfill them. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to think about something today. What could you achieve if you spent less time on the surface of life? What incredible problem-solving might you unlock? And what kind of deep focus could you tap into if you actively reclaimed your own cognitive energy by eliminating the unnecessary decisions in your daily routine? If you enjoyed diving into the hidden psychology behind this everyday behavior in today's explainer, make sure to hit subscribe. Because once you truly understand how the mind works, you start noticing these brilliant hidden strategies that most people never even think about. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.